This story of the movie starts from a time when the end of the world is near. Some kind of evil force or some disease was spread. It also changed the people. They were half dead, emaciated, and very scary looking. They used to hunt the remaining human beings. In the movie, we don't see the big cities and what is happening there, because the story of the movie is surrounded by a forest, and after this disaster some cults were formed. A cult also formed in this forest, and some people live in this forest. Who do they worship or trust? It's not overtly stated, but one thing that was surprising, that everyone in this cult had cut their vocal cords. This meant that no one could speak or make a sound. They believed that speaking was a sin, and that the world was going to end because there was so much evil among humans, and they used to manipulate each other with their words. And now in the forest, there are also those unburnt people who wander here, and if they find any living person, they hunt him down and kill him and eat him very mercilessly. But instead of accepting them, these cultists used to sacrifice them, perhaps so that they would not come to their village and harm them. Everything is understood till now. As soon as the story begins, we meet a girl, Azrael, who is also a member of the same cult. Because she cannot speak, Azrael is the special character of the story. Now we see Azrael and her boyfriends named Kenan ran away from this cult. They were in this forest and maybe they had a plan to get out of here. We see Azrael picking some berries and then realizes that Kenan has lit the fire. So she rushes to him and puts out the fire with a cloth and gets angry at him. The highlight of the film is that it is all muted so no one speaks. There will only be one character who will talk a little. Well, Kenan apologizes and Azrael gives her a gift, but the moment of happiness doesn't last long. Because the cultists attack them, and both of them are captured and locked in the car, they start taking them somewhere. Azrael tries hard to get out, but the car is locked tightly. Both vehicles go their separate ways. Azrael is taken to a certain location where the cultists are already present. There was a chair in front of it. In fact, there was going to be a ritual, that is, a ceremony was going to take place in which a person would be sacrificed, and at that time, they were going to give the sacrifice of Azrael. Among the cult leaders comes a woman named Josephine. Azrael tries hard to convince her with her emotions and plead with him not to do this, but Josephine doesn't care. Men tie Azrael to a chair. Josephine injures his foot, so that because of the blood they half-dead people come towards her. The people of the cult stand at a distance facing the other side, because it was also a part of ritual. Then a gust of wind blows, which means the demons are heading that way. Azrael tries hard to free herself, which she succeeds in. She opens one of her hands and a cult member sees it, because everyone else was looking the other way, and then he comes to ties her. But Azrael fights to her rescue and badly injures the man, and demons who came to kill Azrael. They kill this cult member, giving Azrael the opportunity and time, so she ran away from there. And by the time the cultists found out, it was too late. Azrael runs to a riverbank where she cleans her wound. She could have left here alone if she wanted, but she was thinking of her boyfriend Kenan. She was sitting there thinking, then a half-dead man came sniffing her blood. Then Azrael applies some herbs to her wound, so she hides in a cave where he is half-dead and cannot find her. While walking, she finds a path marked by car tires. Following it, she reaches a village. Actually, she wanted to save her boyfriend, and then she dared to enter it. There were fences all around and the cultists were everywhere. She had to do it all secretly. Well, there she saw the gift that she had given to Kenan. Now she started having bad thoughts about what happened to her boyfriend. There was also a church in which the people of the village had gathered. Here we also see their real leader, whose name is Miriam, and she is also pregnant. At the time, Azrael was hiding under a house. Miriam found out that Josephine had failed in ritual. She gets angry and slaps Josephine. This sacrifice which these people worshipped was very important to him. Then Azrael was still hiding there, but Josephine found out, so she went to get him. But Azrael saves herself. One of his hands is also injured. Now Josephine warns the whole village, so now everyone starts looking for Azrael. And then to get out of there, she injures her foot in the fence and goes out, and starts running in the forest until she is shot at, but the target is missed till evening. She just keeps on running. Blood was flowing from it, which the half-dead humans sniffed and followed, as she reached a road where luckily the car driver saw her. It was not a cult member. She could speak. Azrael was also surprised, but he was a good person. He was reaching out to help. Since Azrael could not speak, she signally tells him to get out of here quickly. The man understood and started driving. And then she tries to explain to him by seeing the mark on her throat that she cannot speak. Then seeing her injured hand, he gives her a clean cloth and says to bind her wound. Then he asks her about food. As soon as he ate something, Azrael felt that he might be saved and get out of this horrible place. On the way, The guy plays music, which Azrael likes. But unfortunately, a bullet hits the guy in the head, which was actually shot by a cult member who found him, and the car goes out of control. The man who fired the shot is unable to save himself and is blown away by the car. Azrael is unable to do anything, causing the car to crash. And the man who helped her was killed, and Azrael was also wounded. She comes out and the killer is still alive, and he starts killing Azrael, so she fights back in her defense, and when the gun reaches her, she kills him too. Now she has a weapon, so she was moving forward in the forest. Then she saw her boyfriend Kenan, who was tied to a tree, was injured. Azrael moves forward to help him even though he signals not to come. There was a trap set, and Azrael was easily caught in it. She hung from the tree. Then a cult member comes there. Before he could take Azrael away, half-dead men reached there because Azrael was wounded, and they came here by smelling blood. And then they kill the cult member and Kenan too. Azrael gets herself to the tree with great difficulty, but now the half-dead man has reached there too. And then, as soon as he gets the chance, Azrael puts the rope around his neck and jumps down himself, from which she herself was saved, but everyone else could not be saved. After Kenan's death, Azrael's anger increased, and after coming a little further, she reached the same village. It was nighttime, so she entered the church secretly. Miriam was standing in front. Azrael wanted to kill her, but Miriam shows her belly that she is pregnant. As Azrael takes pity on him, Miriam seizes the opportunity to attack him and knock him unconscious. But while she was unconscious, Azrael slightly injured Miriam's stomach, causing some blood to drip onto her hands. The cult members this time put him in a coffin and buried him in the ground. When he regained consciousness, the coffin was actually connected to a tunnel. There was also a lamp there. Taking the lamp, Azrael walked forward. She heard something. Actually, they were in this tunnel burnt half dead. It was difficult for her to get out of here. So she stays there. He half dead comes near her, but he doesn't do anything to her. Because the blood she smelled is actually Miriam. So he doesn't harm her and leaves. Now why is that we will find out in the end of the story. The rest of the cultists had full faith that she must be dead and their ritual was fulfilled. But after some time, Azrael comes out of a tunnel. And this time, she was the most vengeful. First, she sets the village on fire. When the people started to put out the fire, Azrael saw the opportunity and killed them one by one, and also shoots Josephine in the stomach so that she dies in slowly death. Azrael goes to the church where she immediately attacks Miriam and slits her throat. Miriam was no less powerful. She would have killed Azrael, but then her child started to come into the world, so she stopped. Azrael was looking at her in surprise. Then a shot was fired, because Josephine was still alive. Azrael quickly hid behind a bench. Now Miriam was giving birth to the baby, and Azrael was fighting Josephine. Despite being shot, this woman was not going to give up easily. Well, there was a great fight between them. But in the end, Azrael kills her. By the time Miriam gives birth to the child, but she freaks out and slits her own throat. Because she had not given birth to a human, Azrael goes in and takes the child in her arms. By then those half-dead people started gathering in the church, and not to kill anyone rather, to worship this child, because they were his slaves. And when Azrael removes the cloth, it turns out that he is not a human child, but the antichrist. All the demons were standing before him. Azrael felt a strange joy, with such a great power in his lap, and this is where movie Azrael ends. Hope you liked our video, so don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.